Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
Cats and Cosby on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And joining us now, we have Miranda Devine joining us. Miranda, great to have you on. This Graham Plattner, you wrote a big column about Graham Plattner. This is the guy who's running for U.S. Senate in Maine. And his comments just get worse and worse. Not only his Nazi tattoo, his bashing of fellow military heroes, the comments about women. And now this weekend, I'm sure you saw, but Bernie Sanders is out there promoting him. And every Democrat that I've seen so far asked about him, it's like they have laryngitis and can't answer.
Yeah, hi Rita, hi John, hi everybody. Yes, I don't really understand what the attraction is, other than I think that Democrats are so desperate to have a real person, somebody who is masculine or who appears to be masculine, is a veteran, seems like he's working class. All of that is not true. They tried with Tim Walz during the last election, Kamala Harris's sidekick. He was supposed to be their kind of dorky Midwest dad, wearing his sort of lumberjack clothes and pretending that he could hunt and fish, neither of which he could do. So he was just an unmitigated disaster. So now they've gone to Tim Walz Mark II, which is Graham Plattner, who actually is a silver spooner. He was born into a privileged background, went to a $75,000 a year prep school in Connecticut. He's not what he pretends to be and what he dresses up to be, with that very contrived, gravelly voice. You know, when you look at him, you would think he was just an independent or a Republican instead of a far left dingbat who believes in the same things that, Ilhan Omar or Kamala Harris believes, and will usher in this new Democratic Party with all their anti-America, destroy America policies. We saw a taste of it with Joe Biden flinging open the border, Medicare for all, etc. That was really bad because Joe Biden had no core, so he gave himself over to the new big thing in the Democratic Party, which is the far left. Graham Plattner is an avatar of the far left, but because that's not palatable, those policies are not wanted by the vast majority of Americans, Democrats dress them up and pretend they're something they're not. Abigail Spanberger is the kind of female version of that. She's another one, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a moderate, someone we can all get along and speak the same language, and let's not have, Donald Trump's brand of divisiveness and, uncouth behavior as they all carry on about. Let's have this lovely woman. And then she comes in, what's the first thing she does? She goes against one of her promises, which was not to gerrymander, and she tried to gerrymander, and thankfully it blew up in her face. But that's what the Democrats are doing. They're trying to fool voters who don't look underneath the cover.
So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. He does have a primary, but it looks like he's going to sail through this primary. I hope Maine voters say no. I mean, everything I hear about this guy, it just gets worse and worse. I mean, the fact that here it is Memorial Day, he was bashing a Purple Heart recipient, saying he was a lousy shot. And Chris Kyle, who is one of the greatest heroes ever, the American Sniper fame, he went out and bashed Chris Kyle and said, maybe he was, overzealous in his shots, and that's how he got so many shots. I mean, what a disgrace. To me, it really frightens me if somebody like him makes it to the Senate. And then you've got a great woman like Susan Collins, who is, of course, the incumbent there. I hope she wins. She's a moderate, and she's someone who seems to be able to represent all people in Maine.
Well, that is the comparison. That's what's going to happen because Graham Plattner, all of his outrages, whether it be the Nazi tattoo that he had for 18 years and pretended he didn't know was a Nazi tattoo, even though there are people in his past who say he absolutely did know and was proud of it.
And he still has it, Miranda. He still has the tattoo.
Well, he's modified it to try and disguise it.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. The masturbating on porta potties, criticizing a Purple Heart recipient, attacking Chris Kyle, excusing rape, being a rape apologist. All of that is just airbrushed by the most skillful operators in the media, whether it be the New York Times or Time Magazine, beautiful airbrushed cover stories with him on the front looking rugged and rough-hewn, and they call him, a flawed everyman. And they say that, these scandals, they either say they've been exaggerated and twisted by his enemies, or they say they're just proof of his authenticity and his redemption arc because he's not like that anymore. He somehow had an epiphany, and he's not that person who, it wasn't like he was doing this when he was 12 years old. The guy is 41 years old. He was doing it in recent years.
Yep.
So don't tell me that he wasn't a fully compos mentis adult and that he is still the same person. But he has put on a costume, and he's done it just for the duration of the election campaign. And unfortunately, I guess Susan Collins has been around a long time. She's an older woman. Maybe Maine voters are fresh for something new.
Oh, boy. Hopefully it's not that. My goodness. Miranda, thank you very much. It's really great to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely to talk to you, Rita.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?